Hey guys, Luke here with a quick battle. So yesterday Games Workshop released another battle scroll for the vampire counts. And if you're not familiar with battle scrolls, they're like iBooks that GW is putting out once every day in December. If you're watching this from the distant future, it's probably already happened. But in this case, if you don't know about them, you should check online, just on GW's site. They've got like this advent calendar, and they're releasing a new battle scroll like every day. They're like $4. And the idea is it's going to give you a new unit, a new formation of like basically groups of units you can take for some benefit, or I think there's going to be scenarios or something as well. Most of them, unfortunately, are for 40k, like 2/3 of them. But hey, that's just the way it works. We're used to this as the fantasy players. We get beat up in terms of the GW's focus. But there are some ones for fantasy. There's a couple for chaos, demons, chaos, warriors, and then there's vampire counts have 2 so far. It's pretty great. The first one for vampire counts is like, hey, bring a couple Black Knights, bring some Graveguard, pay for a bunch of skeletons you won't use, and then you can have a White King with them that will let them march as a bubble together without the general's leadership, and they'll crumble less. It's kind of cool. But there's unfortunately a lot of questions that are not answered, like, can you have other characters that join them? Can, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, it's a little too open-ended, and I wasn't sure how to use it. I could just agree between my opponent, but this one that came out seemed a lot more distinct and fewer questions. The idea here is that if you take a Necromancer, 20 ghouls at least that do not count towards core tax, and some Crypt Horrors, this is the Crypt Scavengers battle scroll. If you take those things and you bring a Garden of More, which is this graveyard in the picture here, you get a pretty cool benefit. It's got like this aura of 6 inches inside and around it that do -1 leadership to your enemies. It gives all the undead in that same aura 6-up regen. Also, all the casters on the Lore of Vampires or the Lore of Death inside get 2 extra dice to channel, which is really good. And a bunch of the creatures that kind of come with regen naturally in the VC book get to reroll their failed regen saves. That includes Vargulfs, Crypt Horrors, Strigoi Ghoul King Lord, the Terrorgeist. I think that might be it. So not everyone, but a good amount of people. So this is actually a pretty cool thing. You don't have to pay that much, and it can really swing some combats. So I took it, and I was very excited. I was reading it at work on the toilet, and then I ran home. My buddy Sean was like, yeah, I'll throw a game with you before he went off to work. And so that's what we did. I have to apologize because it's pretty sloppy play. Like, these rules came out and I read them and we were talking about them online in the forums and I got some things wrong and I'll point those out. Also, Sean came over and he brought his tournament list and I've got this kind of fluffy I want to try stuff out list, so we'll see how it goes. Here's deployment. You can see we're just facing off at each other. Thankfully, even though he's Empire, he's going to come at me, which is exactly what I want on a list like this. And we'll go to what I got. I got a group of direwolves, 20 zombies, a corpse cart, and a Vargulf. And those are crowding on the right side of the Garden of More. Now within it, I've got like 35, 34 ghouls. Those are not part of the formation, but they get to be in there. I've got my Strigoi Ghoul King and a Necro level 4 in there. I should have put him on death. I was thinking, like, I thought about it, but when I looked down, I was only going to have 2 level 1s on vampires, and that was just scary. So at the last minute, I put him on vampires, but I think death would have really served me. I've got a second Vargulf. You can see his wings popping up there. And then a Mortis engine behind. So the idea is the Vargulfs and the Lord are re-rolling nearby here. Everyone's got a base 6-up regen save getting increased to a 5-up in most cases from the Mortis engine. You could get that to a 4-up like pretty much on everyone, which would be great. A bunch of the guys are getting a re-roll. So that's kind of what I'm going for here. Then I've got 3 casters. You can see the third one is in this white group of Skaven. Those guys are standing for my ghouls that are part of the formation, like the 20 that I needed there. The Cairn Wraith in there is my level 1 Necro. I just don't have 2 models. Then I've got 20 zombies, another 20 zombies on the left, and Crypt Horrors that are also part of the formation, 6 of them, and some Direwolves. In terms of magic, I'll jump back here. I've got 3 guys who will all be channeling 3 dice, which is awesome. And my Ghoul King has the channeling staff, so he'll be succeeding on a 5 or 6. I think that's going to be pretty good. So we'll see how that goes. Empire brings 2 groups of 4 demigryphs, a group of Pistoliers, a 3rd group of 4 demigryphs, and Jesus, that's going to be a lot of armor to punch through. Wish I had death. Actually, wish I had metal. There's a cannon in the back. There's Karl Franz with some Inner Circle Knights and a BSB. So that's going to be scary. He's pumping out an 18-inch Inspiring Presence. There's an Archer detachment behind that Hurricanum with a level 4 of light in there, and the Hurricanum is a winged beast of awesome. And then he's got 50 Halbs in a bus formation. So if you've read this battle scroll, you're probably seeing what I did wrong immediately. We were even talking about this in the forums. Everyone misread this until, like, basically the next day. And that was, we thought you had to put the Garden more fully within your deployment zone. That's not true. It just needs to be fully within your table half. And that was my biggest complaint about this battle scroll last night as we were playing the game. I was like, this sucks, man. Like, I'm too tight over here. GW did not do that. I could have put that thing all the way up to the line, and that would have changed the game significantly in terms of deployment and moving around. So I just shot myself in the foot here. The battle scroll is more forgiving. In terms of spells, my level 4's got Van Hell's Curse of Years, Invocation, Hellish Vigor. My Ghoul King knows Raise Dead to pop a couple of zombies up, and my level 1 also knows Invocation. So he moves his Pistoliers up. First, I Vanguard my dogs. Vanguard my dogs over here just a little bit as well. We go to Empire turn 1. He moves up. There are no charges. We go to Magic. It's 12 dice to 7. I have 9 dice to channel, and I only get 1. 3 of them channel on a 5 or a 6, and I only get 1. First, he throws out the big Shems, and he throws 6 dice, but doesn't get Irresistible, so I just throw the Dispel Scroll, because I don't want that going off in the Mortis Engine. Then he throws 4 dice at Speed of Light on the Demis, and I wasn't able to stop that. I only threw 5 of my 7 dice because I wanted to save 2 in the Black Periapt that my Necromancer has. So I did, and he gets Speed of Light off on his Demigryphs. You can see shooting there the cannon aims for the Mortis Engine, but does not wound it. His Pistoliers miss the dogs. His Archers miss these dogs over here, so I'm feeling pretty lucky about shooting. Go to Vampires turn 1, baby. My Dire Wolves just see a juicy charge into his Hurricane. I'm not going to do anything there, but at least I might hold it up. And Carl, you know, I'll crumble a little bit. I don't think Carl will be able to charge me, so that's fine. I try to charge Carl with my zombies because why not? I don't make it, but I do go like 6 inches, so that's pretty cool. One Vargulf shoots off to the side just to kind of protect the flanks, and I'm moving the corpse card closer to the garden. The garden's a big pain in the ass because I thought I had to have it in the deployment zone, like I said, and it's up on this frickin' hill, just based on where we put the terrain down. So the components of the garden are individual, so they're moving around on their own. I'm trying to balance units on these hills. It's just a nightmare. So you'll have to kind of forgive the fact that the garden's a little bit bouncy, and yeah. I move my dog. I charge my dogs right into his Pistoliers. He fails on the stand and shoot, and my zombies move up just to try tar pitting around. You can see my Mortis Engine moves over to pulse a little more at the tar pits. During Magic, it's 12 dice to 6. I had 9 channels. There we go, buddy. That's a Magic phase. First, I throw off a Bubble Heal, excuse me, 12 inches from my level 2. He lets that go. You can see the dice. I've healed up a bunch of zombies, 13 zombies on the right group that are facing Carl, so that's pretty awesome. Then I throw 5 dice of Curse of Years on his Demigryphs. I wanted to hit it on Carl's group because there's no armor saves, but unfortunately he was just outside of range. I get an Irresistible Force, and unfortunately in the feedback I lose 2 levels. So my level 4 is only level 2 now. He forgets Van Hels and Curse of Years. So that sucks. But I do get 2 wounds on the Demis. He'll probably just be able to dispel that on his turn and won't be able to bring it back. That's very sad. I eat his Pistoliers here, believe it or not. He breaks, I don't catch him. He goes through his Demigryphs here, the cool, awesome bear models that he has, and I overrun into them. They don't panic, so we're all happy there. I lose combat by 2 and only crumble by 1, which is pretty great. So the dogs are still going to be holding up in there. And we go to Empire turn 2. He charges Archers into my dogs. Carl Franz fails a charge on the zombies by 1, which I'm very happy about. Just more time to tar pit it all up. He charges his Demigryphs through the forest. He has Speed of Light on him, so they're moving really fast. A question, I wasn't sure. I think Speed of Light doubles their movement, right? So does their movement go to like 14, or are they just capped at 10? I think all stats have to be capped at 10, but I'm not sure. That might be one of those gray areas. Anyway, you can see the other group of zombies gets a successful charge off by his kind of top Demigryphs there. His Pistoliers rally. We go to Magic. It's 4 dice to my 7 Dispel dice. I mean, look at all those dice. I'm almost doubled him. I had 2 in the Periapt to channel a bunch. That's amazing. So he looks at my dice. He's like, screw that. He just takes his 4 and dispels Curse of Years, and that's all. So I put 2 in the Black Periapt, and there's no Magic phase. That's some power right there when you don't even get a magic phase. During shooting, he puts a cannon shot on the mortis engine, doesn't do anything. The dogs do 1 wound to the archers, and they don't wound me, so I crumble by 1 because of the charge, but I'm still around, baby. Go dogs! Unfortunately, this is where I find out that these demigryphs have the flaming banner. Yeah, it's a tournament list. Of course you can have the flaming banner in it. And these guys start out pretty strong, and bleh, instead of having their 5-up regen that they were going to have, not re-rolling, but just a 5-up, they don't get anything with the flaming. So the zombies have 2 left. They're holding them up, but ooh, not going to do anything. Before Vampire turn 2, in the combat with the Lord there, he gets like a couple wounds through. The ghouls get a couple wounds. He went for a quick assassination on my Lord and just wasn't going to get it. With me re-rolling my super regen save, no way. So now he's realizing now his demis are in trouble. Let's see, it's Vampire turn 2 now. That means I charge the zombies into the front of Carl, and I make it. I charge with the Vargulf into Carl as well on the right there, and he does not make it, unfortunately. So he's kind of standing out there looking at some halberdiers that kind of want in on him. It's probably, I go back and forth. I would have had a flank charge on Carl, but he would have had so much combat res from the zombies. I probably would have just been able to eat his BSB. You wouldn't, obviously his BSB was on that side, which might have been worth it, but I would have definitely lost a Vargeist there because of the crumble. I'm sorry, a Vargulf there because of crumble. He would have just thrown all of his attacks into the zombies. So, yeah, I don't know. That would have been a mixed bag. I moved my other Vargulf over just to kind of threaten in that area as well. For the charge in the middle, I take my ghouls from the formation, I put them in the flank, and I put the corpse cart, slam into the flank of the demigryph. So those guys are not long for this world. And then we go to a huge, huge mistake. I said I was playing quick. I got home from work. I threw up the board. It was so fast. I was so confused about the rules. And I make a charge with my Crypt Horrors into his demigryphs that have the flaming banner because I totally forgot. I didn't even remember until the damn magic phase that is why those zombies were gone. It's idiocy, but I'm going to try to claim that I was very, very tired. Or at least rushed. So, yeah, those guys are going in there and they're just going to die. So that sucks. My zombies try to get off onto his other demigryphs and they don't make it. During Magic, it's 7 dice to 4. My big heal is dispelled with the scroll. I threw a couple dice at it. I throw a 4-die heal from one of my other casters with Invocation at the 12-inch range instead of the 18 as I was trying before, and it's Irresistible Force. So I get it off, heal up a bunch of zombies, as you can see, which is good and bad. Carl has, what is that? 23 extra zombies to chew through now? Woohoo! But I also just gave a bunch of combat res, basically to the Flaming Demi group, because I brought 7 zombies back there. So that's a problem. But those guys were probably dead anyway. It just means I made it even faster. So that's another mistake on my part. But, it kind of is and kind of isn't. At this point, those guys are already gone. Carl's going to be locked down. It was Irresistible Force, and I forget my single level and lose Invocation. So no explosions or anything. During shooting, it's -1 leadership around that Garden of Moor there, and I've only got kind of the baby scream, the Banshee scream on the Mortis engine. But even with Carl's leader 10 Inspiring Presence, I get 2 wounds through because of that -1 and rolling well. So that's great. I end up taking one of the models, the demis, away. I'm very happy about that. In close combat, yeah, it's exactly what you'd think. He puts 7 wounds on the zombies and then puts a couple, and I crumbled by a ton on the Crypt Horrors. That's my own damn fault there, being an idiot. Carl chews through a bunch of the zombies, but I've still got 2 beyond the starting size when it's all said and done after crumble, so that's pretty cool. My Vamp blows through the unit, and we just do the Vamp combat first. He takes him down pretty quickly, and then it's immediately going to be Snake Eyes on a Standard Bearer, and he doesn't get it, so we just don't even do the rest of the combat. He breaks and gets killed because he's a Standard Bearer breaking. My dog finally poofs over here. Didn't even have to go to combat to realize that was going to happen. And here's a picture of the end of the turn. So it's crowded. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens. Empire turn 3. He brings his halberds into flank of the zombies. Brings his demis into my zombies here. Go to Magic. It's 4 dice to 3. He gets a big roll on Shem's Burning Gaze on my Mortis engine, and it's like 18 or 19, and I'm like, hell, I can't stop that with my 3 dice. So I just store 2 in the Black Perry app for later. He gets 7 hits on the Mortis Engine, 6 wounds, unfortunately. Mortis Engine blows up. So no more regen, but the explosion's kind of minor. It hits a bunch of guys, kills some of my zombies or whatever. Doesn't really do many wounds to anyone else. And it's only strength 3 right now. So I don't even put the little arrow, the little explosions down. A few wounds here or there, not too much. But it sucks to lose the Mortis Engine. During shooting, his cannon shoots at my Vargolf, and I fail the regen save. It lands right on, it wounds, I fail the regen, and I totally forget that the Vargolf can re-roll its failed regen, so it dies. He gets 6 wounds, which sucks. It's actually kind of hard to remember what units get what in a new battle scroll like this, but yeah, I would have had a second shot at just a 4-up, but I think at the time we were also making the mistake of saying guys got to 3-up. The Garden of Moor doesn't increase your ward save at all, it just gives you a 6-up base. So the Mortis Engine can increase it, but these guys just have like a re-rollable regen from it. Anyway, I forgot to do that. That helps balance out some of the other stuff I'm forgetting to do, I suppose. Finishes off the Crypt Horrors, finishes off the zombies. My zombies get finished off over here as well. And we go to Vampire turn 3. So I try to charge the corpse cart into his demis to get out of the way so my Lord can do some stuff, and it fails. So it's just parked right in front. The ghouls from the formation. So I tried to reform him, but like the corpse cart was right up against my dudes. Excuse me, it was right up against my dudes after killing the demigryph, so I couldn't reform anywhere because I couldn't keep my center the same. Like it was literally, the corpse cart was stuck. So I just had to charge forward and I didn't make it, so I'm kind of blocking my own dudes. I just back the Lord's group up a couple inches. He's actually where the die is, I think, right now. I just couldn't balance him on the hill. The Vargolf with the wings, I replaced the model. That's why the one of the wings was dead, but now it's back again. I just replaced the model because I like it's a little more scary. A little tactics of the mind there. So anyway, the surviving Vargolf comes over to try to help just consolidate a battle line. The ghouls from the formation go into the demis. Even though they're flaming, I gotta hold them up. Excuse me. We go to the magic phase, and hello, baby. Look at this. Look at all these friggin' dice. I got a ton of dice, and there's really nothing to do. I go for, excuse me, Raise Dead to slow up Carl. He dispels that pretty well, so I get Hellish Vigor off of my ghouls, and that's about it. Empire turn 4, Carl goes into the Vargolf, and his Halberdiers just kind of move up a little bit. Unfortunately, Vargolf's going to die, but yeah, maybe I can get Carl. We'll see. His Pistoliers move up just to shoot at the corpse cart, and his demis move up to kind of close in on me. His Wizard throws Shems at the corpse cart, doesn't get anything. Gets Time Warp off on his Halberdiers, and I can't stop it. I save 2 dice. Go to combat. The Vargolf puts 2, actually lands 4 or 5 wounds. Carl saves a couple of them, only gets 2 wounds on Carl. And even with my rerolling, which I forgot, but even with my rerolling, I just took 1,000 wounds, so he died. But I almost killed Carl. He's 1 away, so that actually could have gone pretty well for me. But that combat's over. He reforms. My ghouls completely die. Yeah, I probably should have. I think I had to move him up to get him out of the way because I wanted to charge a couple things, but yeah, I should have just moved him up instead of charged. Vampire turn 5. So with the corpse cart in the way, the really only thing I can do here, I charge the corpse cart at his Pistoliers, and he flees. The reason he fled is because if I got in there, I could have had this interesting, like, weird combo charge where I probably could have overrun and gotten into his demis on the Flaming Banner with my Lord's group. So he flees. I redirect the corpse cart successfully, get it into his demigryphs. The fleeing Pistoliers panic his demigryphs because they're outside of the Inspiring Presence range. So the flaming demigryphs are going away. They're not going to go off the board, but hey, those guys have the Flaming Banner, and I hate them, so I get to feel a little satisfaction in the fact that they're running away like girls and peeing in their armor. With no one else that I can actually charge to, I decided the only way that I could potentially bring this out here is to charge my Lord's group out of the garden, hit the Halberdiers. I know they're going to be steadfast, but make them take that 10 rerollable goes to 9 rerollable now because of the Garden of Moor. And maybe they'll fail it. And that's a Hail Mary, but at this point I've played so poorly and things are going so badly, that's all I can do. During the magic, I get off a heal, but he shuts down my rerolls, so I just bring back some ghouls. And I do get off Raise Dead in front of Carl to block him, and I'll show that in a later picture here, but I don't have it right here. You can see the 2 dice in front of Carl. show where I get 8 zombies up just to block him. And in close combat, you know, I guess I should go back here. I get nothing on the impact hit, so this is kind of just a stalemate. I kill a ton of halberdiers, but he's going to be steadfast, of course. My vampire goes to town. He kills a couple of my dudes, and he makes his steadfast, even on a 9. I think he rolled like a 5 or something. And here's a picture just showing where those zombies were to block. But that's the game at this point. There's nothing else I could do. Here's a picture of the left half and what it looks like. So didn't come together for me. So that was a fun game. I think, you know, obviously I hurt myself quite a bit by having that garden like really close to the line. That was my biggest complaint with this battle scroll, was like, it's just not that usable. But being in your half and not your deployment zone is huge. So I'm definitely going to try this again. I like the fact that I could bring Vargulfs, Mortis Engine, and Terrorgeist, and they're all going to get some sort of benefit. Well, the Mortis Engine doesn't get a benefit from the reroll, but it certainly is cool. Like, they all have this good synergy together. I think it's a very usable battle pack. It's hard to get a lot of fighting power. I don't know how fighty the Vargulfs are going to be because they really didn't do anything there. And that's why I might consider the Lore of Death. Just get up on it, get a bunch of dice, throw death out left and right, make them come to you if you can, see what happens. So that was a good battle pack, and I think things went well. Thanks for watching, y'all.